Damn! You can hear it in her voice. I will sign it into law.
I will sign it into law.
Kamala's eyes just serious. If you want to do a speech and you want to come across confident, whether that's on a Zoom call or if you're in a little room of people, or in Harris's case, an entire auditorium. If you're doing a speech, you're not necessarily going to be against someone else, but there's still things in this that can help you get a sense of how you can come across confidently when you're on camera. Hello, I'm Ricardo, communication coach, TV editor and storyteller, and I've got a live where I will teach you how to go from shy to fly on camera in 60 minutes. Yes, so check that out in the link below, sign up and you'll be informed about that live when it's on. Yes, yes, yes! For me, this presidential election has been really exciting. You know, we thought we were going to get a rematch with Biden and Trump, and Biden really just showed us a great example of what not to do when public speaking.
Until we get the total ban on the total initiative.
I really don't know what he said. I don't think he knows what he said either.
Look, I wouldn't have picked Vice President Trump to be vice president, but I think she was not qualified to be president. So let's start there.
A clear example of how not to give a speech. Right, one. Thumbs up, like the video, show your support. We're gonna reel it in, and we are going to focus now. Today we're gonna go into Kamala Harris. Is that how you say her name? Kamala? I feel like, yeah, if it was in the UK, we'd say Kamala Harris. Kamala.
Okay, let's get into it. Number one, you gotta know your audience.
Philadelphia, it is so good to be back in Arizona. Good evening, everyone. Oh, it's good to be back in Georgia.
When you're speaking to a crowd, it's so helpful to know your audience and know who you're speaking to.
It is great to be in Milwaukee.
So at the beginning of her talk, she talks more to the room. She talks to Wisconsin.
The path to the White House goes through Wisconsin.
And so at the start, she started local, and that will just help engage the specific audience you're talking to. So she could do that same talk, but then if she does it in a different swing state, those things that she says is going to differ.
And I am very clear. The path to the White House runs right through this state.
But the core message will be the same. I did a talk at a school, and depending on the school, because they're usually in London, you know, I'll say, oh, I'm from this part of London. Oh, you're a bit of London, this is a weird bit of London, blah, blah, blah. So you're making it specific to the people there to relax and lighten the mood.
Okay, number two is blend your background.
I was elected Attorney General of the state of California, and I was a courtroom prosecutor before then.
Obviously, as a black female, half black, half South Asian, like going into the race, she needs those credentials. You know, Trump doesn't need those credentials.
Now, when I mention blending your background, I'm not necessarily talking about color. This is about blending what you do, why you're there, you know, who you are, blending some information about your background with a bigger picture point that speaks to your message.
I was a courtroom prosecutor. And in those roles, I took on perpetrators of all kinds.
So what's great about this is we, the audience, we know where she's going with it.
Predators who abused women.
We know that she's talking indirectly about Trump.
Fraudsters who ripped off consumers. Cheaters who broke the rules for their own game.
So she never explicitly says that he's a predator or a fraudster, a cheater. It's all implied.
So hear me when I say, I know Donald Trump's type.
It's all implied.
So Arizona, I know Donald Trump's type.
Kamala's discrediting Trump in a really clever way, because not only is she giving us her background, so we're getting a sense of what her past experience is, she interweaves her own past and then contrasts it with with Trump's fragmented criminal past.
In this campaign, I will proudly put my record against his every day of the week.
So when you're doing a talk,
Every day of the week.
you can give your background, but when you put it in the context of something else, like a bigger picture, then that helps people relate more to you, rather than it feeling rigid and saying,
I had the privilege of teaching high school social studies for 20 years. I decided to run for Congress, governor of the great state of Minnesota, and you might have heard, coaching a state championship football team.
No, Tim, don't clap for yourself. Of course we haven't heard of that. Like, nobody knows who you are.
I studied at this college and then I went to work at this place, and then if it's just linear like that, it's like, why are you telling me this?
But at least with Kamala, we get context.
I will proudly put my record against his any day of the week.
It's the way, it's the way, it's the way. Kamala's eyes just... She's serious. She's serious. This stern look, there's this like subtle confidence.
Eye contact is important when you are speaking to the camera or on stage, looking at members of the audience confidently.
And then you see like a little smirk going on her. She's literally holding in that happiness. She's so clearly proud.
Number 3, focus on the bigger picture.
But let's also make no mistake, this campaign is not just about us versus Donald Trump. This campaign is about who we fight for.
Right? This is another great example. I often, when I do talks, or even when I'm editing TV shows, it's the same thing of like, yeah, we can talk about this small thing, this small topic, but what is the bigger picture context that this small thing falls into? Or, why are we focused on this little thing when actually there's this much bigger, more important thing that we should be focusing on? That's great because it's a mindset reframe, right? It's like it helps us switch in our heads like, oh yeah, true, we've been thinking about Trump. She's basically rising above that, Kamala, rising above it. She's rising above it. She's rising above it. So pantomime.
On the other hand, we are running a people-powered campaign.
It's just shifting that focus.
We each have the power to answer that question. The power is with the people. We each
People power.
have the power to answer
Without
that
the
question.
people power.
And in the next 100...
We got the people power. People power. The people is the power.
We are focused on the future.
She's giving us a clear idea of what she represents and contrasting it with what Donald Trump represents.
But Donald Trump wants to take our country backward.
And it's continually very like a clear contrast. That's what we do, if you're doing a speech, you want to like have a really simple idea that you can then just build on.
But we are not going back. We are not going back.
Do you want to go forwards or do you want to go backwards? And she repeats herself.
I'll tell you why we're not going back.
Why?
Because ours is a fight for the future.
Hey, look, Trump backwards, us forwards. And then American in true form, giving us the audience reaction, the fandom. Now they're all chanting, this is so American.
Not going back. We're not
Going back, not going back. I feel like I'm in WWE or something.
We know we gotta take this seriously. And can you believe they put that thing in writing?
I love that.
And can you believe they put that thing in writing?
This is how ad-libbing can get quite powerful.
Read it. It's 900 pages. But here's the thing.
You just break the script a little bit, and it's like, what? Now, whether that was actually on the script,
And can you believe they put that thing in writing?
I'd love to know, because if it is, the way she delivered it was really, really well delivered.
After watching more of her rallies, it does seem like it was in the script,
I can't believe they put that thing in writing, by the way.
which goes to show that she's very good at what she does to make it feel like it's an ad-lib. And just in case you're not sure what an ad-lib is, it's when you go off script. Number 5. If you go off script, realign as soon as possible.
In American politics, the person who is the president needs to have charisma, and they need to be clear, and they need to be bold, and they need to be certain.
And we just had some breaking news.
This, I feel, she's delivering. She is clear. We don't hear her but there's going to be this really interesting moment where it looks like she messes up. It looks like she messes up.
Generations of America's
Eyes, you'll see her eyes just do this. She just
America's
generations. And then she's like, oh shit, I read the wrong bit. Then she starts reading the right bit.
generations. And we have to remember this.
Generations. And then she says it again in a way to just, she's cutting off that the mistake of a thought and just realigns herself. Generations.
Generations. And we have to remember this.
And then you see her do this on her nose. That makes me think she does this.
The shoulders on which we stand.
Which is wiping away the error almost, like just clear cut, like whoops, mistake. So it's just a reset and a gentle like comfort thing. And then she continues.
Generations of Americans before us led the fight for freedom.
And then she gets back into the speech. So she's realigned with the speech. And so again, that's the thing. If you're reading a script or if you go off and your mind sort of goes on a tangent, you do want to bring it back as quickly as possible. And you don't want to go off too far. Again, it's always bringing it back to the breath, right? When you feel yourself panicking or getting over worried, getting overworked, worked up, you want to just take a breath, pause, realign with your speech, realign with your message, realign with whatever it is you're trying to say. So, what am I trying to say? It feels like she's been doing speeches for a very, very long time. That's what it feels like. She's been speaking to crowds for a very long time. And I've also got a live going where I will teach you how to go from shy to fly on camera. Yes, so check that out in the link below. So you can sign up to the newsletter and you'll be informed about that live when it's on. Yes, yes, yes.